why are there these clothes all over your bed? You mean these clothes here that I'm going to push onto the floor? Why are these clothes all over your bed, Laura? I don't know. For the same reason I slept until 2 p.m. yesterday. I vaguely recall like being unable to sleep. I know I had nightmares. I don't know. I did forget to take my melatonin. I realized it today because I knew I had one pill left and still one pill. I bought a whole new bottle. I know some of my admirers, male, probably mostly male anyway. Some of my admirers liked the videos I created on my mama's old bed, her big queen bed in the spare room. I know some of my admirers liked those videos. I thought they were kind of cute, those videos. Don't think for 1 second that the old Laura's back, because she's not. Then I get put down by a total stranger in the world, condemning me for shutting my phone off at night. And my mom's in the mental hospital. Also shut off my phone when my mom was in the nursing home. The only time I don't shut off my phone at night and keep it on 24/7 is when I know my mom's in the regular hospital and it's touch and go. It's life and death. It's whatever. Then, only then do I keep it on. This person thinks I am a bad, bad daughter for not keeping my phone on at all times. And I've actually gone back and forth with that in my mind over the years. But I decided I deserved to matter when my mom was calling me at 6 in the morning and waking me up. And then that arrogant cunt psychiatrist from that one I filed the major complaint. Again, in my mind, it all blends into hell. But, so I don't expect any of you to remember what happened there. Because I don't even remember, but I have it documented, don't I? And not just out here. I ended up writing a 10-page typed complaint letter that miraculously got read by whoever was tasked with that mammoth, assignment. How do I know he read it? Because I believe him. Because I was joking, and I'm like, I'm sure you just skimmed it. I'm sure you didn't read. No, he's like, oh, no, I read it. And he pointed out different things in it, and you could tell he read it. So that was worth it, just in and of itself. Anyway, I was thinking I had a duty to keep my phone on at all times. And I was getting phone calls that were waking me up. And I matter too. I remember that cunt doctor called me like 8 in the morning at her convenience. And she was pissed to not reach me. I can tell these medical professionals in times have been pissed if they don't reach me. Like Joe and I would sarcastically say, they just expect you to be just waiting to hear from them, okay? And yeah, I know, at any given moment somebody could be calling me about an emergency with my mom. And that actually did happen with those assholes that were just so incompetent. No fucking brains to speak of. My mom I was told she wasn't going to make it, and she pulled through. She gets medically cleared. The hospital fucked up, I will give you that, okay? And their higher up, like a big wig, ended up contacting me over that. I filed a complaint. He contacted me personally. He wasn't some lower person. He was like he was a high up guy. I'd heard his name before, and he was apologetic. Which is a nice change from people not wanting to say they're sorry or accept responsibility or blame for anything at all. First they send my mom to the nursing home, even when I'm begging, just get me to the next day because I cannot get over there tonight. And I know the most dangerous time for anybody is when they're leaving a hospital and going into a nursing home, because wires get crossed and the right things don't get put, you know, don't get pointed out or in, you know, just emphasized and whatnot. And this was deadly for my mom. This was a really strict, very, very rigid water restriction was in place. While all day long my mother was telling me she was dying of thirst and nobody would give her any water. And then when I reached the doctor and complained, she told me I lifted that this morning. So was I ever going to think in a million years it was going to carry over to these strangers in the nursing home that was a 1-star rated, no less? Maybe 2-star general public or 1-star Medicare. No, I never fathomed that. If I'm told the doctor lifted the water restriction, then it was lifted. Nope. And then they were following it. They had to go follow doctor's orders. And my mother can't even speak when I go to see her in the afternoon, the next afternoon, because I was so discouraged that he wouldn't just wait to the next day to send her over, that I didn't push to get there immediately first thing in the morning, which I couldn't even do first thing in the morning anyway. I remember from where I lived. Public transportation would not have gotten me there first thing. But anyway, I came a little late in the day, nothing drastic. And my mom was so thirsty, she couldn't speak to me. She looked like death warmed over her. She looked worse than I'd ever seen her in my life. I left that day and caught the fucking bus, and I was bawling. I got it straightened out, and I ripped everyone a new one, but you know. We were just following what it says here. It says she's on a fluid restriction. It was an obscenely low one. It was like 32 ounces a day. It was supposed to be temporary, very, very temporary, and because they were doing their system updates and whatever, it got sent over there, which only proves why people say that it is the most dangerous time when you're being sent from a hospitalization, over to short-term rehab, because wires get crossed and things don't get said that need to be said, and it can be deadly, and it was deadly for my mom. And they were thinking that was her baseline. I'll never forget that to my dying day. Morons were just thinking that's their baseline. If they had looked at the records carefully, what was sent over, they would have saw that just a few days before, she was singing and laughing with me, and we were singing, and I was playing the music in the hospital. This is not her fucking baseline where she can't even talk to beg you for water, you morons, you motherfucking incompetent twits. The hospital made a fucking error, but you should have caught it. Not dehydrated my poor mom to the point where she couldn't even beg for water. Could only go like this to me. And they were following this fluid restriction to the point of her death. Until I got there and got to the bottom of the horror and rectified it. What if I hadn't been able to get there? What if I was sick? What if whatever, you know? In any case, that didn't matter in the end, did it? Because 2 days after entering that facility, she was found non-responsive, barely breathing, and sent back to the ICU to fight for her life again. Getting filled up with hate. Better shut her down before you find out it's too late. So yeah, put me down all you want, total strangers or stranger or whatever. Because I decided at some point where I was being woken up early in the morning by my mother or by whoever, I had a right to keep my phone off at night and sleep. And if there did end up being an emergency with my mom, which there was, if they're gonna take care of it, it's not like I can hop in my car and be there like that, you know? It's not like there was a major emergency and I'm trying to get, my mom's far away now, you know? Again, I can get there, but not easily. If I ever needed to get somewhere fast, like how would I do it? I live in the boonies. I don't know anything about calling an Uber. I don't have an Uber or Lyft or anything type of account, and I don't plan on it. And Joe shuts his phone off at night. Okay? So I wouldn't be able to reach him either if it was an emergency. Always be emergency with loved ones. You're not required to be able to answer your phone 24/7. You know what I mean? So, turn that on. I did turn it on. So, you know what I mean? It's like, am I gonna leave my phone on tonight? Yeah, I will. Here you go. Only because I didn't talk to my mom at all yesterday. Or I say tonight, but it's the middle of the night at 1:30. Are you doing that because a total stranger made you feel guilty? Possibly. Again, no doctor or anything's trying to reach me in the weekend. They're only, no one's really trying to reach me. Everything for me. You've done nothing for me. Think that I had just seized, girl. Where can I find so dirty when you start talking, keep on telling her. Cause she's watching it with us. Think that I had just seized, girl. I won't. Yes, I am going to push all of these clothes onto the floor and not give you a fuck. That's what you call depression. Where is the phone? Anyhow. Yeah, speaking of which, so when, the whole bunch of paramedics and cops and stuff, not just one come when you call psychiatric 911. It's a different ball game. They also say, is the person violent? Do they have access to any weapon? No. Delusional and out of her fucking mind, not violent, no access to any weapon. Anyway, one of the guys who could relate, I guess it was a paramedic, maybe a cop. Again, all blends into hell. Was like, well, because even when they don't know that they're not going to be immediately discharged once they're medically cleared, so. But he was like, well, at least you'll get a break. Yeah, what you don't understand is I didn't want any fucking break, okay? This is breaking me. We were on a routine, my mom. We were doing good, okay? I found a caregiver to watch her while I had my 2 medical appointments that were, several weeks apart, but still. She agreed to do both of them. One was my doctor's appointment and one was my dentist appointment. To get this redone for free. Because it already started coming off, whatever. This brand new dentist said she'll do this whole, cosmetically paint the whole down. routine. Doing good. I'd even asked that caregiver if she knew anyone who could give my mom, piano lessons. Like she was getting back in Massachusetts. Let's say. Oh, routine. Yeah, we've been doing good. I didn't need any break. I didn't want any break. She was sleeping 4 and 5 hours. One time it was even 6, 7. Of course, she's gonna pee into her Depends and her 2 Depends and liner at that time, but she won't do it voluntarily. But she does it involuntarily. She gets up, Laura, gotta pee. Take her to the bathroom, change, and that's it. And she would go right back to bed. Didn't require any TV. She was taking her meds, no argument, including the pee pill and the pantoprazole that I would give her earlier than her other meds. She was doing fantastic with her physical and occupational therapy. He meant no harm though. He's like, at least you get a break, because he knew over the past 5 days had been hell, where she's not sleeping barely at all. She's up every couple hours, if not less than that, to pee, and even in between my little bouts of sleep before she'd be screaming for me again, she was she'd sometimes be screaming out even when she didn't have to pee, or yelling, or not yelling, you know what I mean, just so I could hear, because I'm listening for every noise, right? I'm listening to hear if she's finally gotten into the wheelchair on her own, which I hate her doing. I wish she wouldn't. And of course, she's going to get more and more defiant and delusional and everything that accompanies that, right? Right? But no, I'm not enjoying my fucking break, okay? My heart is just shattered. Gloria. Better slow down before we start to play. I think you're hitting down, so be careful not to shoot. All the voices in your head. Remember that shirt from a long time ago? I'm sure it still exists. I never had it, but I saw it. I used to love sayings on t-shirts, that clever sayings, and I only do what the voices in my head tell me to do. Not a joke. When I was 23, the voices in my mama's house had were telling her that I was an alien who needed to be knocked out. Fortunately, I was faster and smarter and got away from her before she tried to act on that. because she had every intention of doing. Because she told me after the fact, I said, "Do you know what's going on? Why you were violent? Why you chased me and you were gonna hurt me?" And she said, "Yeah, the voices in my head told me you were an alien and it needed to be knocked out." How, pray tell, would she have accomplished that? She caught me, she may have killed me. Would have been her fault. Anyhow, it was, in quotations, fun creating those 2 videos in the bed earlier. Doing it for my fans who wanted it. A handful. More than a handful, but you know what I mean. My few and far between male fans who find me attractive. It's nice to still be found attractive. It is by total strangers, you know. Anyhow.